back on SportsBit, Betting Insight today. Time for Big Game Breakdown. Always sponsored and powered by Bet Online. Monday Night Football, Vikings up to 3.5, 40.5 the total. Looks like Bradford's going to go, and it is Trubisky time for the Bears. Fox said he's seen enough of Glennon. They'll put the youngster in there, and it'll be coming down to the running game with Cohen and also in Howard, because he has no one to throw to with his wide receivers, and they haven't been able to catch a lot, although the Bears have been feisty at home. The big thing is here is the experience level for Trubisky, because he was great last year in North Carolina, but hardly played before that.
Yeah, you got that right. I mean, we're talking about a guy who was obviously a top selection in the NFL draft, so we know that he has the raw skills. What Mitch Trubisky doesn't have is a whole lot of experience, even at the college level. 2014, as a freshman, he threw only more than 15 passes against the likes of Liberty and East Carolina. In 2015, he only threw more than 20 passes against the likes of Delaware. So 2016 was his only real season as a starter in college football. Here's a quote from offensive coordinator Joel Loggins. Quote, Mitch Trubisky is a very good young player, but he is not a magic wand. We need to play better around him. That starts with me and goes to every position group. We've got to eliminate drops. We need to eliminate the negative runs and the negative plays, because it's really hard to play quarterback when it's 2nd and 15 and it's a known passing situation. You're absolutely right about the Chicago's running backs. I mean, Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen combined, more than 400 rushing yards. They've both been good running the football so far this season. But when you look at the overall group of receivers that Chicago is bringing to the table right now, this is among the NFL's worst. I mean, it really is. There's no deep threat. Cohen has caught nearly twice as many passes out of the backfield as any wide receiver downfield. Kendall Wright, Deontay Thompson, their top two targets, 25 catches between them. That's not a duo that's going to make a defense like Minnesota sweat a whole lot when it comes to a downfield passing game.
See if they can get this offense back on track now with Bradford back in there. Minnesota's lost 8 of their last 9 in Chicago, but underrated with these wide receivers. Thielen, 15 yards per catch. Diggs, 17.8. They were going into last week. They were top 5 in the league, and they have 22 catches or more, despite Keenum playing in a couple of the games. Here's Bradford. It was night and day on how my knee felt. I felt much better on it. I feel much more comfortable moving around. In that regard, I think my mobility has definitely improved. At this point, you're going to have to play through some discomfort. I'd like to be 100%, but I don't even know if that's possible until the bye week or the end of the year. Wow, how about that quote? But they got to get the running game going, and it's a tough break with same thing as last year. All these injuries now, and they lose Cook, who was averaging almost 5 yards per carry and was a factor in the passing game as well, catching the ball. They gave Murray a big deal coming out of Oakland. He's had fumbling issues. They brought McKinnon in against Detroit. They tried the Wildcat. He fumbled. So we'll see if the running game's able to do anything. And Minnesota, number 1 in the league on third down conversions on defense. I would expect them to sell out to stop the run against Chicago today.
Yeah, when you look at the quote, and I got a great quote here from Mike Zimmer about that very subject on defending the Bears' rushing attack. Quote, their offensive line does a really good job of getting guys where they're supposed to be. The receivers do a good job in the perimeter, blocking, holding, and grabbing. And the offensive line does the same thing. We can't allow them to hold us and grab us the way they've been doing in other ball games, tackling us. So basically, Zimmer's already lobbying the refs before the game starts to be calling some penalties here on Chicago. Certainly, we look at the Minnesota defense and facing a rookie quarterback without a ton of experience. That is an elite Vikings defense. Make no mistake about it. You talk about their receivers and Thielen and Diggs, who've a couple of guys who are really underrated. They're the only team in the NFL that have 2 wide receivers with 22 catches or more. And as you mentioned, that came despite having Case Keenum at QB for 3 weeks. So these Vikings wide receivers are underrated. The Bears wide receivers rank among the worst in football.
Hey guys, for the full video, go to sbrpicks.com.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.